welcome back to my channel, Anchored Life with Kaale. Today I want to talk about the question that so many of us have. Is it possible to have it all as a woman? Let's talk about it. If you're anything like me, you probably want a lot of things in your life. Whether it's being a mom, marriage, your career, working in ministry, traveling, developing your hobbies, friendships, all these things. They're such good things and we want these things in our lives. But we do need to pick and choose what we incorporate into our life in each season, because if we have too many things going on at one time, we're not going to be able to do anything well and they'll all suffer. So it's better to focus on a few things and do them well and be able to do different things as different seasons come along. That's often hard for me to do because I usually have a ton of things that I want to do and I want to do them now and I want to do them well. But those things don't go together. So I need to pick and choose what I say yes to. In high school, I had a friend that wasn't really in any extracurricular activities, and I remember thinking that I wished I had her extra time so that I could do all the things that I wanted to do but didn't have the time for. I was very busy. I think in some way I kind of bought into what society says that busy means better, but I also just legitimately have tons of things that I want to do and I want to accomplish, so I need time for those things. So you have to be able to say no to the things that are not the best yes, so that you have time for those things that are really important to you and that you actually want to do very well. Sometimes some of these activities that we need to say no to are actually really good activities. Maybe they help people, maybe you really enjoy it, have some good relationships there. But we need to pick and choose, like I said, because you don't want to burn yourself out and you want to be able to spend your time focused on the things that really matter and to do a great job with them. We want to be able to just finish the race well, make it the distance, develop those strong relationships as time goes on, and do it to the best of our ability. We all only have so much time. Do we want to invest it or do we just want to let it pass us by? I've always been very involved with dance and serving at church and work and my friendships, all these things. But when I first got married, I decided that for the first year, I was just gonna take a step back from a lot of the things that I was involved in, just so that I could spend more time consciously working on my relationship with my new husband and just building a strong foundation for our marriage. And I've had to do that too for the first year of being a mom. And I didn't do that on purpose. I was actually had tons of things that I wanted to do this year and travel the world and see friends and let Sophie meet all my friends' kids and all that stuff. But the pandemic has forced me to slow down, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Actually at Christmas time, I thought it was actually quite nice to be able to just spend some time with my family and not feel rushed and get the inevitable colds that I get every Christmas because I'm not getting enough sleep. So in that way, being forced to say no to some things was actually a good thing, and just having time to spend with my family was really precious. So since we only have a limited amount of time and need to be able to say no to some things, we have to take a really good look at our lives and see what is important to us. When people say, I don't have time for that, sorry, not gonna do it, it's not necessarily that they don't have time, it's just that they're not willing to make the time. It's not important enough to them. Because if something is important enough to you, you're gonna make the time for it. Of course, there's tons of things that we have to spend our time on that we probably wish we didn't have to spend our time on. Things like cleaning the house, paying bills, all that stuff. So, of course, we can't say no to those things. Those things are inevitable and are gonna have to be worked into the schedule of our day. And then there's the emergencies, things that come up that have to get dealt with right now. And we can't really say no to those things either. So then the third category of your time spending would be the things that you're choosing to spend your time on. So you can either be very intentional about this and be choosing to spend your time on things that are going to have lasting impact, that are going to take care of yourself and others, that are going to be working toward achieving your goals. or you can waste them. And I'm not saying that you have to be super productive all the time. That is not how we are made as humans. We do need our downtime. We do need to relax, and that is part of self-care sometimes. But being intentional about that, not just letting that be your default of maybe just scrolling through Instagram or mindlessly watching Netflix for hours and hours every night. Those things can be part of relaxing and being intentional about letting yourself relax, but they're going to be taking up all your productive time if you're not actually thoughtfully noticing that you're spending your time on those things. It takes being intentional and purposeful in the way that you are planning out your day and the way that you're thinking to make sure that you're making time for what's important. One thing to keep in mind when you are saying yes to things is that every time you say yes to an opportunity, it means saying no to your family. I heard this from YouTuber Angela Braniff, and it is really wise advice, because if your family is ultimately super important to you, you want to make sure that the way that you're spending your time reflects that. I was once told that I wasn't being a team player because I was just doing the required amount of work and nothing more. Meanwhile, I was barely hanging in there, and I was intentionally setting boundaries for myself to take care of myself and my mental health. So sometimes people aren't going to understand when you have to say no, or you're setting these boundaries for yourself, either because you have something better to say yes to, or because you just need to take care of yourself and back off from everything for a little while. And it's hard for people to understand sometimes when they're used to you saying yes and then you say no, or maybe they're just feeling frustrated with the situation, whatever it is. It can be really hard to have to say no to people. And I really feel that sometimes, something that I work on, because I love to get asked to do things. I love to join the team and work hard and bring something to the table. But realistically, I can't do it all. And I do love to be able to do a really good job at the things that I do. So the more things that I'm saying yes to, the less time and energy and thought I can put into each of those things. No matter what season of life we're in, there's always going to be something that you feel like you're missing out on, because we can't say yes to everything and be able to do everything, even though we really want to be able to. But you're going to have to say no to some things, and that may make us feel like we are missing out, or maybe we're jealous of the lady over there who's able to do that thing, but maybe she is jealous of us for the thing that we're able to do. Like if you are a single woman who wishes that you had a family to spend your time on, but then there's the married woman with kids who is looking at the single woman and wishing that she had all that time to devote to her career and to her hobbies. So even though you feel like you're missing out on something, you need to take a moment, look at the things that you have in your life and be grateful for them, and realize that these are very important things. This is a privilege to be able to have these responsibilities in your life at this time, and then to do them well. Down the road, you might have an opportunity given to you that you can say yes to that you would have had to say no to before, just because your season has changed. So then it's a great opportunity to just dive in and to do something new and to do something that you couldn't have done before. Sometimes we get an opportunity, we say yes to it, and it is something that we've really wanted and we have it. And then when things get tough, we forget that this is what we wanted. So for example, if you are just had it up to here that your kids have made the 100th mess in your house that day alone, it can be hard to remember that you were once that single woman who was desperately wanting to have kids. So oftentimes our current problem or the tough situations that we're in are actually an answer to our previous prayer that we had. And I've heard Christine Caine say this, and it is such great advice, because when you look at the things that are tough in your life right now, you can often get a new sense of gratitude about it, and a shift in your perspective when you realize that the things that you have in your life right now are actually answers to your previous prayers and your dreams that you had. So just because something that you said yes to is difficult and has its challenges doesn't mean that it was the wrong thing to say yes to. It just means that we're human, we're on earth, and things can be tough sometimes. So yes, I think that women can have it all, at least everything that's important to them, but just not at the same time. You have to make wise decisions about what you're going to spend your time on so that you're investing your time wisely, making the most of each opportunity, and making your best yes. Is there something that you have had to say no to that you really wanted to say yes to, but you just knew you had to decline? How did that work out for you? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have experienced in this area. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel because I release new helpful videos each week. And make sure that you hit the notification bell as well, just to make sure that you don't miss out on knowing when my new video comes out. I'll see you soon. I'm trying out a new spot to film, and of course now my rabbit biscuit decides now's a good time to start ripping paper, so